This man isn't black!
Ah, yes. Somebody asked, Micah, why is this music going exceptionally hard? It's Megadeth. That's why. Oh, what is going on, folks? It is 4 o'clock on a Monday. Usually don't stream on a Monday, but I decided to make an exception. Somebody in my Discord server had said they had seen a thread on the Gundam subreddit, and that brought me up. Now, the last time I got brought up in this subreddit, the opinions were kind of divided. There were those that had seen like the 1 Year War series, like, yeah, this is pretty cool, but he's kind of crass in his humor, which I am. And there were some people that said some genuinely nasty things. So yeah. So we're gonna find out what they're all mad about, because I glanced through the stream, or through the thread, and some of the things that are said in it are just patently wrong. Like, that are just flat out lying about my content. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I figured we would come on here, we would do a bit of a stream about it to discuss it. We'll go through the ins and outs. Quick question for anybody that is in the chat. As I am speaking, do you hear my heater in the background? Because if so, I'm going to turn it off. It's not really that cold in here. You know, I'm actually, fuck it, I'm just going to turn it off. Because I'm wearing a sweater, for God's sake. I should be fairly warm. But yeah, we're going to go over some of the things that they say. Specifically, some interesting things that I had seen in this that we're just going to make fun of. We're just going to make fun of Reddit for doing typical Reddit things. One thing actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to throw any like zingers out towards the Gundam subreddit at the moment, but I will have them later. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just discuss it. So, somebody put this up here. Says this is an unusual post to make. Genuinely wanted to know if anyone has watched this YouTuber's videos. What do you think his opinions on the Gundam series? Thank you, Michael, for the $5 Canadian. Says, sorry, this is off topic. Missed your previous stream. I want to ask you if you could tell me why Vic Mignogna's lawsuit failed. So the quick and dirty of it is that the issue that you run into whenever it comes to slander, tortious interference, that sort of thing, you have to prove objectively that the things that were said about you hurt you fiscally and reputationally. Now, what ended up happening was that the lawyer that Vic got talked into hiring, Ty Beard, really was not, this was out of his wheelhouse. But he thought it was so cut and dry that it would be easy money. Not really the case. So the case that he presented, he did a good job of presenting the fact that there was no evidence to the claims that were being made, which the judge even notes in his opinion if you go and read it. However, he did not do enough to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was, or beyond a reasonable doubt, I should say, that it was the opinions and statements of Monica Rial and, you know, her boyfriend and all this and all these other retards, that what they had said had caused the Vic to lose money and to lose job opportunities. And in reality, what they really needed to be doing was they needed to have testimony from people that were associated with the conventions or companies that got rid of him to speak on why Vic was let go. Period, point blank. And they didn't do that for whatever reason. It just was not, the case was just not put together very well. And I feel bad for Vic, because Vic is a sweet guy from every indication that I've seen, you know, and it's just one of those things where, you know, just the right guy was not in the right place to get the job done to help him out. So, all right. So let's get into the R Gundam thing. So, says here from the guy who posted the thread, I got interested into his channel from his massive compilation video of his review and narration of Gundam Wing, which I honestly enjoyed. And so far from watching his videos, he seems to be very judgmental for every Gundam entry he's reviewed. True. But he's chill with the UC entries. And he really seems to really love Gundam Wing like it's peak fiction. Also true, because it is. Yes, though I like, and this is something that I feel the need to bring up. In the first video that I did on Wing, I flat out lined out that Wing is imperfect, that it's got issues. But the my argument was that the stronger elements of the show greatly outweighed the negatives. So, let's see here. He also seems to really hate the Seed franchise. Like, does not leave a moment in each video where he decides to shit on Seed with a strong passion. Like, I'll be honest, Seed isn't my favorite entry either, but my god, I've never seen anyone go to such lengths of reverse flash levels of hatred. And his main excuse for this is because he apparently gets cyberbullied by Seed fans on Twitter for criticizing the series. Not completely true, right out of the gate. The reason that I first did the Seed videos was I did, before I truly committed to being a Gundam lore tuber, I did a video about Gundam Seed because I had rewatched it and it was terrible. And I'm like, this show sucks. And I felt like doing a video about it because at the time I just did videos on whatever crossed my mind. And some people it reverberated with, and then some people it didn't, but as time went on, people were like, nah, dude, do one on Seed Destiny. I really want to hear what you have to say about Seed Destiny. So I watched it with another guy that I was chatting with, who was helping me out with some stuff, and it was even worse. And I was like, holy shit, dude, like, this is terrible. And when I dropped the video for Seed Destiny, that was the one where I got a ton of negative pushback on top of the fucking the Seed Freedom one as well. Like, people were, I think it was the Seed, I wish Shirt Dude was here. He would remember better than I do because I'm getting old. But I want to see, it was the Seed Freedom review where people were legitimately wishing death upon me over not liking an anime. Like, I'm gonna be blunt. This is a part of adulthood that you realize as you grow older. A lot of people don't like a lot of things, and that's okay. They don't have to. At least some of you guys had a drinking contest when you were watching Seed. No, there were points, Demon, where I actually had to get up and walk away from the computer because of how frustrating it was. So yeah, it was just one of those where it just, like, I was just discussing it because I thought it was interesting to discuss, because I'm of the opinion that, you ought to be able to look at things with a critical lens and not really feel as if, like, you should be ashamed of not liking something, And just like the idea that so many people talk it up, oddly enough, on Reddit, that I was like, what the fuck are you guys on? Like, this is not good at all. And so I just wanted to discuss it. So this is really interesting to me because I've been at odds with this subreddit for years. And it's really interesting to discuss because right now there's two sides to the Gundam fan base, at least in my opinion. There's the people on YouTube and, like, the rest of the internet, and then there's the guys on Reddit. Reddit's really weird, from what I've noticed. A lot of them really like Seed. A lot of them hate Gundam Wing. A lot of them tend to, like, prop up The Witch from Mercury as being really good, when G-Witch had its moments, but it's not, I wouldn't put it up as, like, a top Gundam show at all. But a lot of it is because there's that parasocial element to Gundam Seed, where some people who are lesbians feel like that show basically exists to validate their existence. In which case, if you're identifying with me, Arena, who is an abusive bitch, you need to go to therapy, because it's not how you should behave. If you behave like Suletta, though, and you're an absolute sweetheart, no matter what your sexuality is, we could probably get along, Which, that statement alone, if Redditors watch this video, watch this stream at some point, is going to blow their fucking minds that I even said that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of, like, disassociated Tumblr types, you know, that are very parasocial in, over on, in that Reddit community, plus some other issues that if I get pissed off, like, I will probably just yell about. So, yeah, how are you gonna hate Wing but glaze Seed? Seed ripped off Wing and so much shit. Oh yeah. I mean, the Strike Freedom is just basically a boring version of Wing Zero with funnels. You know, like, it's not really that great. So what I did was I actually started sorting by controversial. Because that one's gonna there's an issue right out of the gate. So Ataxolotl says here he's pretty fair about anything besides UC, Wing, which he's a big fan of, and X and G Witch, which he despised for no reason in the former because he's homophobic on the latter. No. No. I did, first off, I had a ton of good things to say about X. The problems that I said that X had was largely the pacing wasn't really that great, and it had an issue with embedding itself in your memory. You know, it wasn't as memorable. It didn't have the big moments that it really needed to have. It's much more deliberately paced, which, as I said in the video, if the guy had watched it, I said this would work better in the streaming days where people binge watch things than it would have done on a week-to-week basis, which is reflected in the ratings. And by the way, people have liked X more now than beforehand. What I'm saying, it's not like what I said was out of pocket there. But some people just translated that he doesn't like Gundam X. I like Gundam X. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's the best Gundam series of all time. It's got weaknesses. The score flat out sucks. The mobile suit design is not really memorable outside of a few machines. But the characterization's fantastic. The writing is great, you know? But yeah, homophobic on the latter, like, I don't care if there's gay characters and things, though. Like, the review that I did of G-Witch, I flat out gave an example of a lesbian relationship that I enjoyed in fiction, in Cyberpunk 2020, or in Cyberpunk. You know, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here, man? So, I don't really understand that. So, he says, non-rabid conservative chud with a pretty interesting take on Tuple Seta. People who say chud unironically need to get their heads checked. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's such a stupid term. It's like when people tried to make piss baby a thing. You guys remember that? It's the new fetch. You know, stop trying to make chud happen. It's not happening. So I don't know where that comes from. I'm not homophobic. I don't care if you're gay. As long as you're not trying to do anything to me or trying to mess with my lifestyle, generally speaking, I will not mess with yours. I will have my opinions, like everybody has opinions on everything. But as long as you're nice to me, I will be nice to you. That is just the way that I live. You know, like normal people. I actually fall asleep to his breakdown sometimes. If you can get through him, most of his criticism is very much valid outside of a few things. Definitely worth your time to say the least. Oh, a lot of people fall asleep to lore stuff, so I get it. Let's see here. His best video is about the 1 year war. Also, it was just sleeping gas. Xeon doesn't commit war crimes. Why did he get downloaded? That's funny. Why Reddit? Why is he not allowed to meme? Why is he not allowed to meme? Why is memeing no longer allowed on your subreddit there, buddy? What the hell? Let's see here. Other than the space magic bad thing that permeates the fan base as a whole, he's mostly solid. And I don't... Oh, and this guy says here, he's less so space magic bad, more so space magic outside Tamino's style, and also Unicorn's bad. Well, I didn't even say it was bad in Unicorn either. Also kind of homophobic if you watch the Jewish video. I didn't say anything bad about gay people. I made a joke specifically about, like, abusive lesbians, which, by the way, lesbians will make jokes about. Are lesbians homophobic now? Fuck off, man. Stop that. And here we go. I'm guessing you didn't watch the video. He did state Stiletto was an adorable cinnamon bun, but Mia Arena is what's so far up her own colon, she's obnoxious. I'm going to say right now, Mia Arena is worse than Eok. She is! She's terrible! So, we'll keep going. His UC series is good, but the rest is debatable. He's your typical UC elitist. What? UC elitist? The hell? Like, some of my favorite Gundam shows are alternate universe. My favorite is alternate universe. What the fuck? And shits on the other series. I shit on Seed. That's it. What the fuck? He's an obnoxious or an obvious conservative, and thus has a conservative following as well. I don't really think I'm that conservative, to be honest with you. I'm pretty in the middle. I lean right. You know, I like small governments, you know, things like that. Typical, you know, like, it's what I would call your rich uncle politics. You know, like, that's my thought on things. I don't like the government. And I don't like people screwing with other people's way of life. So, I'll watch him for UC, but skip the rest. His analysis on Awakening the Trailblazer is lackluster, since he never understood the premise of the film to begin with. I completely understand the premise of the film. It's Ender's Game. It's Ender's Game, but instead of, like, bugs, it's, like, metal symbiotes. You know, that's basically what it is. It is very much Ender's Game, almost beat for beat. Even, like, with communication being the solution to the problem. You know? Which, by the way, Ender's Game is something that probably was a big inspiration of the series in like, at the jump. I just feel that the guy who created it, who, if I remember right, was the director of Full Metal Alchemist, he basically just, like, he took too much inspiration from it, in my opinion. So it's not a very good movie. It's just not. But then again, I don't think that, you know, 00 is bad. It's just overrated. His UC content is good. I don't agree with his views on Witch from Mercury. That's fine. I don't particularly like the because she's a woman jokes. To each their own. I think it's funny because Wu Fei is so over the top. That's basically the joke. Watched his UC videos, got put off with a constant sexist remarks. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not sexist towards any women. What the fuck? It's a joke, dude. It's not a sexist remark. It's a joke. People are allowed to make fun of things. Fucking grow up, dude. Not being such a pansy. Downvoted. Watched his stuff. Has a massive hate boner for Seed. True. Still thinks he does a good job with his series recaps. Looks into side stories as well. I'd give his channel a watch. Thank you. So, okay, Accountant 8864. If you watch this, go ahead and let yourself be known somewhere. Personally, I think he comes off a bit edgelordy. Yeah. Not gonna lie. Says if you enjoy it, though, that's all that matters. Here's an interesting one. Definitely one of the more odd anti-woke channels I've seen. His analysis on UC and other stuff he likes is actually really great. And if you only saw those videos, you'd be forgiven in thinking he's totally normal and chill guy. Well, yeah, I'm pretty much a normie. Just a fucking rabid metalhead. When you watch his videos on stuff he doesn't like, which from Mercury Seed, it becomes abundantly clear he's just another homophobe. What? First off, what does homophobia have to do with Gundam Seed? Are there even any gay characters in that? How would you get the idea that I am homophobic from my Seed reviews? What? Also, anti-woke. I don't even talk about wokeness. I don't think that word has been uttered in any of my reviews for the last 2 years. What the fuck are you talking about? But he says here, I genuinely don't understand how someone could be so good at media analysis and then totally shit the bed and devolve into the same crap as channels like Critical Drinker, all because an anime had an openly lesbian couple. I didn't see anything negative about them being lesbians. Like, when I re-reviewed this, like, my initial review of Witch from Mercury sucked ass. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Like, if you say that original review sucked, yeah, you're correct. It did suck. That's why I re-reviewed it. When I re-reviewed it, goodness. When I re-reviewed it, I flat out said the culture war is gay. And by that, I don't mean gay as a derogatory term. I mean, this is really dumb. It's gay in the sense that people who grew up in the 90s, i.e. me, say something like that. It's really stupid. I don't like the culture war. I think it's dumb. I think there's a lot of dumb people who are really loud that people listen to because they think that there's a solution there. Retards like Matt Walsh. And I think that they're fucking stupid. They have no fucking clue what they're talking about. They don't create anything interesting that isn't hyper-partisan bullshit. And they don't have a fucking creative bone in their fucking body. I can't stand people like that. I hate the fucking culture war, and I don't really like culture warriors. I mean, for fuck's sake, guys, I spent an entire video, or multiple videos, calling fucking Chibi Reviews a fucking idiot. He's a right-winger. If anything, I've been more critical towards people on my own side of the aisle than I have been on the opposite. Did I say Matt Walsh? Yeah, I despise him. Genuinely despise him. Okay, let's go to top. Okay, let's see here. Henry Fleischer. A combination of the guy's videos on WFM and 0083 is one of the dumbest things I've seen on YouTube. Made me loose all respect for him. Loose? Loose all respect. I have no respect for your spelling. You spent a lot of time talking about how the latter half of Nina's arc was not due to studio or fan pressure. Because it wasn't. There's no evidence that it was. It was likely planned out beforehand. OVAs like that don't just change on a whim. Like, OVAs they take a lot more time with than a normal series. Because there's no sufficient evidence to say otherwise. Then in his video about Witch from Mercury, he declared that Miarina and Suletta only got together because of fan pressure without getting it. That's bullshit. That's a lie. I tell you exactly in the video exactly why I think that happened. And I'll reiterate what I said, since Henry here can't open his fucking ears. What I said was there were delays in the second season of The Witch from Mercury. Then we started hearing about something very, 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 very common whenever things are getting changed, is that you're seeing that they're bringing in temp animators, and said animators are complaining about being overworked. That means there's last-minute changes. Did I not say that? I'm pretty sure I said that, didn't I? Let's look. I'm genuinely curious. Find the Witch from Mercury video. It's been a minute since I did this. Okay, unfortunate failure of Gundam the Witch from Mercury.
That Bandai Namco had to come out and flat out retcon the idea that Suletta and Miarina were married to one another and said it's just up for interpretation, even though the setup of the episode makes it pretty clear that that's where they were going. Now, the reason I find this funny has nothing to do with anybody's sexual orientation. It's not like we haven't had gay characters in Gundam before the show. What I find...
I want to play that audio again. For the people who are calling me homophobes, I want you to listen to this.
Were married to one another and said it's just up for interpretation, even though the setup of the episode makes it pretty clear that that's where they were going. Now, the reason I find this funny has nothing to do with anybody's sexual orientation. It's not like we haven't had gay characters in Gundam before the show.
Point 2.
What I find funny about that is that the ending was so bad and so poorly put together that the company that owns the IP had to basically say that one part of it that might be controversial to some isn't happening the way you're thinking it's happening. This set the entire internet ablaze, and I just laughed. Because if I got one thing out of the ending of that show, it was watching a bunch of shippers cry and whine on the internet and being treated like the subhuman garbage they are. That was a positive. And no, an art book or the writer saying they got married doesn't matter. Speaking of someone who owns intellectual property, by the way, links in the description, as the owner of that IP,
gotta love my shameless plug. No wonder some people think I'm an evil Jew.
I'm the one who has a say in what's canonical and what isn't. In fact, I have the final say. Here's an example. Let's say I hired a comic writer that how Disney was able to blink an entire Star Wars EU out of existence from canon with a word. They own the IP, so they get the final say. Ichiro Okuchi doesn't own Gundam, and him saying the opposite, or the art of two girls in wedding dresses in an art book, doesn't mean anything either. That's between here.
I feel like I might have gone too far forward. Hold on.
Just Miorina being a bitch. Not a tsundere, a bitch. This isn't how you develop a relationship. Whether you're gay or straight or anything in between, the relationship that they're trying to put together doesn't feel like a relationship. It feels like Stockholm Syndrome. Because all we're seeing is this adorable little tanuki that is way too good for this damn show, getting abused by some chick who is so far up her own colon that she can see what she's digested for lunch. What ends up happening in this is this supposed romance gets its one bit of development, and again I use that term loosely, at the 11th hour because the show is about to wrap up, and I guess we have to do this. Even then, it doesn't come across like a romantic moment. Just one girl giving another girl a pep talk because she's a bit sad that her ego got deflated. And if you think I'm being critical because it's supposed to be a gay romance...
Yeah, where is the supposed homophobia here? And like, I can't find where I had talked about the... about that. So if somebody does remember you have a timestamp of it, please let me know. But I'm pretty sure I discussed it at some point, you know? So, Henry Fleischer, you're an asshole for that. Not gonna lie, dude. And he's like, all this is a lie. Like, it felt to me like he was trying to find reasons to not like it due to being a lesbian relationship. I told you the opposite is true, and I told you why. So that's your problem, Henry, not mine. Especially after Bandai tried to retcon it, which I made fun of, and he started claiming that neither was the writer's intention. I said the opposite of that. Nor what I saw on the screen were correct. I said the opposite of that, too. So what the fuck are you talking about, dude? So, lies. Let's see here. Okay, Painting says, looking at his catalog, he's a conservative chud who complains about modern woke characters. Again, I've never said woke. Like you posted a screenshot. Why modern writing sucks, all ego, no service. What does that have to do with anything woke? I made fun of the retcon thing. That was because it was funny. I don't like shippers. Has nothing to do with whether or not they're gay. Why modern writing sucks, the strong female protagonist. In that very video, I talk about why I don't like the fact that women are being bastardized in fiction. I'm sorry, what? How is that talking about wokeness? I don't think you're writing women very well. That has nothing to do with your politics. It has everything to do with how talented you are as a writer, you fucking stooge. Jesus fucking Christ, I gotta backhand this motherfucker. And then, like, the Genocyber video and me making a joke about Cece's ass in Code Geass? Fuck off, you sensitive little bastard. Be-based Lita? Who the fuck is that? Get fucked shippers? Yeah, well, look, I'm gonna say this right now. I stand by this. I absolutely stand by this, because shippers are insufferable. Oh, and this is what I hate when people do. I would rather recommend Retcon 404. I don't know if there's anybody in here who watches Retcon 404. Please do me a favor. Let that dude know that Reddit and Redditors are trying to pit him against me. Because that's how that comes across. Because it's happened in my comments too. I really hate it when they do that, because he doesn't seem like a bad guy. But it's kind of obvious that these guys are trying to pit one against the other, which I fucking hate that shit. I generally speaking do not do that with content creators at all, unless they come at me first. I don't have an issue with anybody. So to sit there and be like, oh, just watch this other person instead of that. No, fuck you, dude. You're a cocksucker. Let's see here. Garbage ass channels. There's one. There's one channel. Learn what tenses are. And he recommends Kakarot, Mecha Kotsuo. Mecha Kotsuo doesn't discuss Gundam. He discusses fucking Gunpla. The fuck are you talking about? Same thing with Zaku Aurelius. They're Gunpla channels. They don't discuss the plot. And I like Kakarot. He's a nice guy, but he is a bit dry. You know? What the fuck? You guys are weird. Honestly weird. And then apparently they have issues with MG, like Mecha Kotsuo for some reason. Let's see here. Mike is interesting if you want to get into a YouTuber who does a decent dive into UC lore and themes. Also Wing, ironically enough. He's pretty good, but everything else feels hit or miss. Well, to each their own. His hatred of Seed is almost comical. It's meant to be it's meant for you to laugh at it. It's not meant to be a dick, you know. Well, I won't lie. The most recent one was really vicious. But then again, it's to fuck with Seed fans, because they need to calm down. His hatred is I read that already. His review of the Gundam work, I'd say, is mostly fair in criticism, aside from Witch from Mercury, Gundam X. What did I say about Gundam X that was so out of pocket? I quit watching his content after his Seed Freedom video just devolved into bitching about how Seed is made for teenage girls. Two! T-O-O! If you're going to show an amount of excess in something, T-O-O! Learn your fucking tenses! Jesus Christ! Yeah, there's a lot of criticism you could give that movie, but that video wasn't it. But it was made for teenage girls. That is the problem, is that it is written at such a low, schlocky, Twilight sort of level of writing that it doesn't measure up to the rest of Gundam. That's the point of what I'm saying in that video. How the fuck are you this retarded? How can you not pay attention? This is something that I'm noticing about this subreddit, is that a lot of these people don't listen to things. They listen to a little bit, but what they're doing... Have you guys ever met the type of person that is... They're listening to you, but they're not listening to you, they're just waiting to respond. They're just waiting to talk. They're waiting for they're watching your lips to see when you stop, so that they can say whatever is on their mind. And that drives me nuts with people, and I refuse to have conversations with people that are like that. It's the Karen mindset. I cannot stand it. That is basically what a lot of these idiots are doing. They didn't listen to a fucking word that I said, did not listen to the argument. It literally flew right over their head. And it's not like I'm speaking, like I'm doing a fucking dissertation for a university or something. I'm speaking pretty plainly. Like, what the fuck? How can you guys miss this stuff so badly? Absolute Reddit moment. Right there. And why is saying, like, this is like a teen drama? What does it have to do with who I'm fucking? Or how often I am being fucked or fucking others? What the fuck? What are you talking about, dummy? Like, Redditors don't know what words mean. Honestly. Don't hate his UC analysis, but he's so critical of the other series I can't take him too seriously. How dare I? I like his UC related deep dives because they're actually pretty informative, but his jokes and literally everything else just comes off as a bit What is with this? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm going to say this specifically to that lintworm guy. I hope your life never gets better. I hope that you spend the rest of your life in abject fucking misery as a human being. I hope you never fall in love. I hope you never have sex. I hope that something happens so that you lose the sensations of taste and hearing and sight. Not that they're gone, they're just dulled. You can't see color anymore, you can't enjoy music, you can't taste food. And there's a reason for that. How fucking dare you ever associate me with white nationalists? How fucking dare you call me a groiper? How dare you say that I am part of a group that wishes people of my genetic background dead? My birth mother was Jewish. Myself and my sister are adopted. One of my sisters is not white. Neither are her children. And I love them very dearly. I would not trade my nieces and nephews for the world. And the last thing that I think of whenever I see them is their skin color. I've had so many people in my life that have changed it for the better, that didn't look like me or behave or think like me or anything like that, and I cherish all of them. Very much so. I do not like those idiots. I am not associated with them. I think they try to bastardize Christianity. I think that they are un-American. I think the fact that they're un-American is completely and totally a valid statement because they're propped up, if you noticed on Twitter, by international, like, other nations that hate America. They mock my country. They mock the people I'm associated with. They mock the people I love. They mock my religion. And if they got what they wanted, they would burn it all down. For you to say something like that about me, because you might not agree with me on an opinion about a show about giant fucking robots, tells me and everybody who is watching this exactly what they need to think about how fucking miserable of a human being you are. And I hope you stay mired in misery forever. Because saying something like that crosses a line with me. I talk about anime, dude. That's it. When you get to know me, I'm one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I'm stern. I don't suffer fools. I don't hate anybody unless they do something to give me a reason to hate them. I don't give a flying fuck about your skin color, about your background, about your beliefs, or anything like that. To go that far, I hope you have the worst life ever. I genuinely mean that. I don't say that about many people. But this guy, this lintworm guy, and every Redditor that upvoted that, you're pieces of shit. Every single one of you. And to be honest, if you were in front of me, I would backhand you for being that disrespectful. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, white nationalists have come after me and some of the projects that I'm working on. They tried to get me to drop the Almighty Lolly's comic from Grindstone, and I told them to fuck off and stop being such sensitive bitches. Maybe you want to chill the fuck out and not, like, throw associations at people and condemn them as evil, like the Groiper, like I'm associated with the fucking Groipers because of an opinion on a fucking robot show, you piece of shit. Oh, that made me mad. All right, keep going. These some of these are entertaining. That guy is, well, that was, that made me really mad. Next guy here, Aether Draw. This is the guy that said Seed Freedom was a failure, right? Creative failure, not a fiscal one. Because it is. It's a creative failure. Blocked him after seeing the title to save me the headache on my viewing page. Should have watched it. You would actually understand what you're talking about. Valorant Deathblade throws in $10. Says, your videos finally made me understand why War is Hell, Buy Our Toys, has created such an enduring franchise. As for Reddit, frankly, if the Morlocks there are mad, you're doing something right. Thank you, dude. Let's see here. The same thing of, well, it says they like Kakarot better, which is fine. Kakarot's a nice guy, I think. Can also recommend Boofire. Boofire, I do the same thing he does. Admittedly, I think I'm better than him, but that's I'm kind of biased. Let's see here. Start off liking his stuff because I've been looking for a synopsis of the earlier UC shows to help give me some context during my recent watch of Unicorn. But given all his editorializing and frankly whack opinions, I started to really dislike him. Oh no, how dare we disagree? Felt like he was condescending with his opinions. I do things like that to be entertaining, buddy. Don't take it so seriously. It's a video on the internet. Got weird vibes from his comments, even in the UC videos he did, and yeah, sure enough, turned out to be homophobic, anti-woke chud. Neither of that is true. The fuck are you the fuck are people talking about? Let's see here. Argon Bolt is better. Anyway. Don't even know who that is. Didn't watch him much, but from what I've seen, he's just another guy who grew up on UC OVAs and Wing, becoming a UC purist and a Wing fanboy. Will never give any new series a chance. That's a lie. Will constantly bitch about the new Gundam, like, isn't like the old ones. Not completely true. Again, I love IBO. You know, I think IBO was the last peak. That was, well, that was 8 years ago. Not even a decade. What the fuck are you guys, like, fuck are these guys talking about? Let's see here. let's see here. Somebody complaining about me shitting on Seed. He's reached a point where he's obviously farming anti-Seed engagement. Is there such a thing? And I'm at the stage of my life where I'm easily turned off by the constant hating for the sake of hating. Now, hold on a minute. I do not hate anything for the sake of hating it. I make jokes about it for the sake of entertainment. There is a difference there. The simple fact is that there needs to be an understanding of bad writing and in comparison to good writing. And by the way, people laugh at it. It's funny. And that's the point. This is something that I feel like the 40K community understands better than the Gundam Redditors. Because these guys, I'm going to just say this right now through reading this. You guys on our Gundam, you guys are the most humorless fucking sticks in the mud that I've ever seen of any fandom. You guys just hate jokes. You're not allowed to make fun of things. Like, what? Why the fuck not? Why not make fun of things? Why not laugh at it? Why am I not allowed to make jokes about how goofy Seed is? Why am I not allowed to use it as a comparison point? You know? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so fucking stupid. The entire series is just one big turn off your brain and enjoy the ride? Dude, no. It's just poorly written. Turn off your brain and enjoy the ride is Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3, the more you think about it, the more you hate it. Gundam Seed, I was hating it while I was watching it. Because in the third act of Gundam Seed, it just goes fucking nuts in how preachy it is, and how inconsistent it is, and how contrived it is, da-da-da-da. Like, I'm sorry, but come the fuck on. They're jokes, bro. Like, it's just, I'm joking around about things, but it's not like it's not rooted in fucking reality. Fuck off. And then somebody getting pissy about me writing for Russia Today. Dude, let's add context, killing word. It's the biggest regret of my career. And I've said that multiple times. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Biggest regret of my career, because it effectively killed my journalistic career. The instant I wrote for them, I couldn't get hired anywhere else. They just see that and they're like, no, we're not going to do it. And it sucks because all I was an op-ed guy just talking about basic governmental shit. You know? Which, and we're going to close this out there. One of the last articles I did was about a problem with rape and pedophilia. Which, by the way, now we're going to have a discussion about our Gundam and my issue with you guys. I'm going to be blunt. Obviously, I don't mind some criticism if it's fair, or if it's actually based on something that's done in good faith. Because there were critical moments within that thread that I'm like, well, to each their own, and so on and so forth. However, this is coming from a subreddit where I saw consistent posting in there during the Witch from Mercury talking about sexual situations between two minors. And posting lewd fan art of minors. The mods did nothing about it. On top of that, there were people in other Gundam subreddits, notably the Gunpla subreddit, that were consistently bringing it up because they were sick and tired of seeing it. People were flat out say, these girls aren't 18 and you're sexualizing them purely because of their sexuality. What did the mods do about underage lewds of anime characters on there? Nothing. So I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to be blunt, like I usually am. I'm not the problem when it comes to the Gundam fandom. I'm the type of person that just wants to watch good television. Sorry about that. That just wants to watch good television. And I think Gundam is completely capable of doing it. They just have been on a bit of a downturn lately creatively. But even then, when it does things right, I compliment it. I mean, I was really liking G-Quux up until the end. You know, I liked a good chunk of The Witch from Mercury. I flat out said in my review of it that the first season's pretty good. My feeling is that they just don't really know whether or not they're going to commit to the bit. Which is not something that you want to have with anything that you do creatively. Either commit or you don't. And by the way, you're allowed to just have discussions with people. I do not give a flying fuck what your background is. I don't. I am a guy who, you know, I don't want to do the whole my friend is black thing. I think that that's kind of cringe. I'm just going to say this. I have been around people of different genders, sexualities, the whole 9 yards. Anybody who knows me has never had that complaint about me. Ever. Like, and that a couple of those accusations I genuinely got pissed off at. Like, seriously. We're just talking about giant robots, man. And you're gonna assume I'm a white nationalist because I didn't think that one series was good? Fuck you. Take a long walk off a short pier at that point, pal. I hope that there's a shark waiting for you underneath it. That or Jason Voorhees. Christ. That was unhinged. Like, does anybody else kind of get that feeling? Like, that was legitimately unhinged. Some of the stuff that was being said in there about me. Like, I'm kind of shocked. I'm like, how are you guys this stupid? I am mystified. Genuinely mystified by some of those statements. Like, legit Reddit moment. Sort of shit. You know, like, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are you guys even talking about? What does the chat say? Anything I hear threatening my echo chamber must be the enemy. Every R anime subreddit. That really is what it feels like. Like, it's one of those things where I really cannot stand the Reddit echo chamber. Because, and that was part of my problem with it, is like, the weirdest things would get said about, like, Witch from Mercury and things like that. Like, I genuinely think that people legitimately believed that show was some sort of cultural revolution. Let's be honest, outside of Reddit, nobody talks about it. It has completely just disappeared from discussion among Gundam fans. Gundam fans just went back to talking about the series that were absolute bangers. And again, it's basically the one major outlier is Hathaway. Granted, Requiem for Vengeance could have been better, but I wouldn't say it's like terrible. But it's sort of the same thing with G-Quux. And again, G-Quux I liked up until the end because the ending was very rushed. They clearly did not give themselves much time, which, again, this is another thing. Like, a lot of my problems with G-Witch, with G-Quux and things like that, has been time management. They're not managing their time properly. And it feels like they really don't know what the, like, attraction point of their show is. And that's not good. That's not good to do. You've got to understand, like, where you're going with it, and like, you have to give it time, you have to give it energy, you have to give it the space that it needs to breathe. Like, it's, oh my gosh. It's frustrating. It really is. So we, like, at the end of it, it's like Hathaway was good. Hathaway was really good. Hathaway might be the best Gundam movie. Hathaway was good. And, what is it? IBO was good, you know, but just since then, it's just been struggling. That's just basically it. It's been struggling creatively. Not fiscally, obviously, because Gunpla is great. But just, you know, it's not where it needs to be. Somebody who was a lefty in chat actually said something. I want to read their comment. Here it is. This is from Gen 2 Media. I'm a lefty, and I can say the way you speak is similar to the way a lot of Nazis speak in efforts to inject their beliefs into casual understanding. You just seem to be actually normal, though. Like, for instance, I'm going to be blunt. So let me explain something to you, Gen 2 Media. What you're experiencing doesn't have anything to do with beliefs. It's actually just a trick that a lot of politicians do. And I'll admit that that's kind of where I learned it from. Is that they will... There's a method of argument that you use to disarm people. And get them to relax and just listen. I'm very good at it. That has always been one of my things that people say, is that I'm somebody that is really good at disarming you so that a conversation can happen. But obviously what I'm talking about isn't, you know, like unhinged fucking crazy man bullshit. I'm just talking about the things that I like to talk about. That's not really a political thing. Holy shit. Mercerhole 8299 throws in $100. Says Reddit is the cesspool of the internet especially after Tumblr screwed up. After Tumblr screwed up, goodness. I've never heard of a good Reddit mod experience. The truth is, I guarantee that most of that subreddit appeared because they had heard about the homosexual romance in Wish for Mercury. That was a good chunk of it, you know? But seriously, I haven't seen an Akatsupa in this chat in a long time, dude. Holy fuck. Thank you. That's appreciated. Holy shit. Akatsupa in this economy? You must really like me. Goodness. I hope I've been entertaining. But yeah, like, I don't think the guy who said that, by the way, chat, actually thinks I'm a Nazi or something. I think that what he's remarking on a discussion tactic that he has seen those people use. Here's the thing. There's other people that don't have those beliefs that do similar things. You want to know somebody who also would do that sort of like disarming speech to get you to listen to him? Barack Obama. And to be honest with you, where I learned it and got really good at it is when I was a salesman. And I was really good at it. And a lot of it is just the ability to meet people on their level. You know, understand who you're talking to. Public speaking is sort of like being a chameleon in a lot of ways. You have to be able to blend in where you're going. This is also something that I learned when I was in, well, not seminary because I'm not Catholic, but Bible school, because I was training to be a preacher. You got to know your audience, know who you're talking to, who is in front of me. The Apostle Paul in the Bible was really good at this because he would change the way that he spoke and his vernacular, and his tenses and his energy levels depending on who he's speaking to. Like, if I have an audience of 60-year-olds in front of me, and then I have an audience of 20-year-olds in front of me, the way that I speak to them is going to be very different. If I have an audience of, if I'm doing like a discussion at a college, if I was asked to speak on the anti-war themes in Gundam for a college course, not that that's ever going to happen, but if I was, the way that I would speak to it would be different than if I was asked to give a similar discussion at an anime convention. You see what I mean? Like, it's very much a knowing my audience, knowing who I'm talking to, and what exactly vibes with them. That's the same way that I did with the YouTube channel. The one thing that I noticed is that the really successful lore channels on the Warhammer side of things, if it wasn't their voice and their delivery that made it really good, looking at Baltimore, because he's awesome, which, fuck Arch for going after him. But if there's one, if you're not Baltimore, you don't have this amazing voice, you know, or something like that. A lot of what gets people to keep clicking is if you're funny, if you can make them laugh, and if you can engage them and keep your energy levels high. That's what I do, you know, because I had noticed with Kakarot, he's got a lot of videos where he's got his facts in order. So I knew that if I was going to do videos like this, I need to, you know, have that correct. And then, holy shit, another $20. Says here, you're the reason I was able to get into Gundam. The way they explained it worked for me. By the way, listen to compilations while I drive my truck. I'm an OTR trucker with minimal expenses. Thanks for the good work. Dude, thank you. Also, Brain just threw me $100. What the fuck? He sent it through Stream Elements, so let me read this. Hold on. Brain just threw in $100 and said, "I'm gonna match that guy." Oh goodness, man! People do not like Reddit. Oh god. But yes, Truck Coon. Oh man. But as I was saying, so that's the whole thing. It's got nothing to do with like fucking Nazis. It's just the power of persuasion. I'm a pretty persuasive guy. All right, what else is going on? He says, a lot of dumb shit that everyone on both sides does. Most people are uninformed. It will react to vibes, disarming speech. Something we have to look out for, but it's much more complex with conversations, including regular motherfuckers and not political activists. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I'm just talking to people about robots. You know, I'm not looking to inject any worldviews here. If there is a worldview that I would try to, it would be Christianity, because I'm a Christian. You know, that of all of my beliefs is the most important thing to me. You know, everything else is just chatter. Something cult of personality. Like Mussolini and Kennedy. Oh my gosh. What a trip, guys. What a freaking trip, to say the least. Also, I didn't notice this until right now. We have 110 people watching this. What the? I did not expect this to be something that people would really get a kick out of. But we'll keep chatting for a bit. AJ throws in $5. Says Reddit after 2013 really went downhill. Unhinged echo chambers, mods going power mad, etc. Reddits are what rhymes with maggots. Keep up the good work. Oh no. But there's definitely truth to that. I kind of feel like part of the reason I'll even check Reddit these days is just like force of habit. It was just something you did, you know, back then. Did he just quote Living Color? Oh yeah. Though I thought about doing the the Jim Cornette thing of like Mussolini with extra cheese. Let's see here. Something to lighten the mood. Micah, did you know that every time the Strike Freedom is used in Gundam media or given a model kit, the lore and technology gets retconned? Really? That I did not know. Jared Hyam has been posting this. I'm sorry that I keep missing it. I'm like, I should address that. It's about Riddy, and I don't like Riddy. You should see the Riddy Raw. I've seen this post from a couple of weeks ago. Considering most people really hate him, I will keep posting this until you see it. Is it really unhinged about like thinking he's a great character, or because I wouldn't call him a great character. He's not terrible, but let's be honest about what he is. He's Elliot Rodger. You know, that's basically it. Like he's Elliot Rodger. You know, he feels like he's entitled to that fucking that Zeon Poontang. Like, nah, dude, you gotta earn that shit. She doesn't want to fuck you. AJ throws in another $2 and says, also Wing Zero's best Gundam. Yes! Thumbs up. I have to like, this is the thing about having long arms. I have to kind of like gauge where, like if I'm going to give you a thumbs up to where you can actually see my big ass fucking hand. Let's do this from now on. H250 says, what's this about our Gundam, our Seed fans there? Yeah, they were saying some crazy shit. Like a lot of it not true. What is your opinion on Seed Astray? I love Red Frame because Katana. I don't know much about it. I know what the Astray is, because that's from the original series. But, yeah. See, it's about him being fairly well written, has some artsy language, but is about the abuse of the politicians in his family. I'd have to look into it. I'm personally not. I personally don't have a super high opinion of Riddy. I think there's some nuance with him a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy. He's one of those characters where like I kind of feel like he didn't have enough time in the oven to properly give you like a good grasp of him as a person. Aside from his flaws, you know. So what else is going on? Should do a shittily cropped thumbs up as a button that pops up for your camera. Mercer throws in another $10. Says, last thing before I go, how do you think the mobile suits would stack up in the BattleTech universe? Funnily enough, Brain is in the chat. We were talking about this last night. we were talking about, I don't remember, oh, I know what we were talking about, so I'm not going to bring it up, but we got on discussing BattleTech, about how he had a discussion with some people about BattleTech versus Gundam. Bullfox throws at $5 says Epion was right. But there's some theory crafting I want to discuss with that particular idea at some point. But how BattleTech versus Gundam would pan out. The thing about BattleTech mechs, and also if you were to do like mechs in 40k as well, speed kills. Gundams are very fast. Like, you gotta think of it this way. The original RX-78 had a running speed of 100 miles an hour. And I don't even remember if that was its top speed. But a robot the size of a house, or the size of two houses stacked on each other, really, running at you at 100 miles an hour is terrifying. And on top of that, these things are maneuverable because they have that anthropomorphic sort of a feel to it. Because at the end of the day, like, what BattleTech mechs, and Brain made this point, I thought it was really salient, is BattleTech mechs are meant for a strategy game. So they're not meant to necessarily be these, like, acrobatic, constantly moving, da-da-da-da-da sort of thing, right? What they're there for is to be big walking tanks, you know? Same thing with, like, Metal Gear Rex. They're not meant to do crazy anime bullshit. Gundams are. So they're gonna be faster, more mobile, you know? If you want more of like a BattleTech feel to a mech in Japanese anime, I would say Votoms. Armor Trooper Votoms is probably gonna be more your speed. But yeah, like, a Gundam can sprint at you and literally punt you, you know, and stuff like that. Like, it's and then you start getting into stuff like the mobile trace system in G Gundam, which, Jesus fuck. So, my grandpa was so scary, it was designed close combat purpose for a reason. Yeah. It could get in and take you out. So that's where the problem that you're going to run into with Gundams against BattleTech stuff is the maneuverability. Like, BattleTech stuff might have weaponry that is on par with the Gundams. I don't know a whole lot about BattleTech to really say whether or not they do or don't. What I do know is that the maneuverability is where they're going to struggle. Because I've played Mech Warrior. Those things aren't that easy to drive. You know? And Jared actually makes a good point. He says, don't even bring up that most of the numbers are very inconsistent with what is shown on screen. Mobile suits are a lot faster than their numbers suggest, although the reactor output is way too low. I'm in agreement. I genuinely think that 100 miles an hour for a Gundam is actually a little slow. I would think it'd be faster. Metal Gear Rex is borderline anime bullshit. It is in Metal Gear Solid 4. Ray is the one that definitely is anime bullshit. Bottoms video when at some point we'll do Bottoms for sure. It might even get a deep dive. You know. What if Gundams were in 40k but as auxiliaries for the Titan Legions as scouts like the Warhounds? A Gundam could drop a Warhound. Be honest with you. Like the RX-78, Grandpa absolutely could take out a Warhound. The one thing it's going to struggle with is getting around the void shields, but it's a lot faster. Again, speed kills. Like, Brain can back me up on this. Could you, like, if a Gundam was fighting a Bio-Titan, the Tyranid unit, it would curb check that thing. It wouldn't have a chance. Like, it would be brutal. So, like, honestly, if you had Gundams instead of I don't know if you'd even need Titans at that point. Also, thank you for the late birthday, Johnny. I think the best comparison to make is that Battletech mechs are more designed after tanks, whereas mobile suits are based after fighter jets. Basically, favorite Salamander story or any good Salamander story in 40K? One thing that people will tell you, and I will agree with, is that if you want to read the majority of pre Great Rift opening Salamander stories, Nick Kime's books are where you're gonna go. They are dry. I'm not super big on them. I'm trying to get through them. I promise I am. I want to do a Salamanders video, but they are just very, very dry. What I would recommend, if you want a couple of good ones that I really like, there's one that I'm reading, and then there's one that I have already read. I'm forgetting the names of them, so I'm pulling up my Audible library. The one I'm reading right now is Overfiend by David Annandale, which is it's 3 different chapters. It's the Salamanders, the White Scars, and the Raven Guard, going out and kicking ass. And then, what is the name of it? Click on finished. Here it is. Vulcan Lord of Drakes. Right here. Another one by David Annandale. I like David Annandale's Salamander stuff a lot more than I like his Nick Kime's a lot more. So that would be what I would recommend. Would be excuse me. I think I'm coming down with something. Oh, my fucking sources are everywhere. There we go. But yeah, I would recommend David Annandale's Salamander stuff. I really like his. Though the Fireborn short story isn't too bad. But to be honest with you, if you got a story that is the Salamanders and the Raven Guard, that's a good story, because those 2 chapters are very tight. Very, very tight. Most everybody liked Vulcan. Like, Perturabo liked Vulcan. Perturabo liked him. So there's a lot of chapters that have, honestly, very good relationships with the Salamanders. Like the Ultramarines do, the White Scars do, but the Raven Guard are their strongest ties. Which you'd be kind of surprised by, because you would think that, like, the Blood Angels and the Iron Hand, well, no, not the Iron Hands, but definitely the Blood Angels, because Sanguinius and Vulcan were on Terra together with Ferrus Manus. That's why the 3 of them were so close. I think they're part of the reason just that Corvus liked Vulcan so much is because they saw eye to eye on a lot of things, you know. But yeah, if you get a story that is Salamanders and Raven Guard, you're in for a good time. But you're also in a good time with White Scars. White Scars are awesome. Honestly. I've really, really, really started to get behind them. And there's a reason why. It's not really so much the Mongolians in space. It's about, they feel like they're very Conan the Barbarian in a lot of ways. And that's what I really dig them. I'm sorry, I missed what you said. Perturabo likes the Salamanders. He has respect for Vulcan. He liked him quite a bit, because they're both engineers. So he respected Vulcan's intelligence and his wisdom. probably didn't agree with his military tactics. Hard mode. Name an Eldar that likes Vulcan. Well, definitely no Drukari, that's for sure. Do I know any good Eldar books? No, I have not got into them yet. Excuse me. On the subject of 40k, I just bought Space Marine 2 and painted my Marine with the colors of Sima Garahaus Gelkug. Nice. Rogel Dorn is the coolest Primarch. The Khan and Vulcan are next. I can understand why so many people like Dorn. I'm in a weird spot with him. Like, I like his sons more than him. Like, I really like the Black Templars. I really like the Crimson Fists. Not really that super big on the Imperial Fists, but I also have not read a lot of, like, many of their stuff. You know, they just, so far as I've gotten into them, they kind of feel very, you know, straight-laced military guys, right? So, however, Dorn is a very good Primarch. As a military leader, he's excellent. He's a great general. Stuck on episode 17 of Double Zeta. It's trash, straight trash. You're trying. I know. Fate used to be more believable. Son of Chris throws in $2. Says, "What is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women." What is the best beam weapon in the Universal Century, in my opinion? I am very partial to the high mega cannon in the Double Zeta. Just for some reason, giant head beam is cool. Genuine question, because you make the opinion. What about Oh, it's basically just that anime guy. Let's see. Kind of seeing what chat is saying. Some people are liking the Beam Magnum. Beam Magnum's pretty cool too. Am I ever going to review Age? Yes, it is on the docket. To give you an idea of what I'm doing video-wise, is I'm doing, the next big one is going to be a review of G Gundam. Here's the question for you guys in chat, since there's close to 100 of you here, I think. Yeah, 95. So, question for you guys. If I did a breakdown of just kind of generally talking about the thematic elements of G Gundam in this next video I'm working on, would you guys still want me to try and do a multi-part breakdown like my UC series? I'm just giving you shit, Nav. I do that to a lot of people. As we noticed, Reddit doesn't seem to understand that. It flies over their head. But let me know if you guys would be interested in that. I just heard a beeping out of my kitchen. I'm going to go check what that is. I will be right back. Sorry. It might be dinner time, so we might have to call it. not realize what time it was. So, since it is dinner time, and I have steak to cook, I'm gonna go do that here in a second. But it seems like everybody wants it, so sure, dude, to be happy because he wants to do it too. So, you hear to hear first. We will do a full-on deep dive of G Gundam. So, there you go, guys. Oh, man. Also, somebody apparently threw in money. On the topic of big awesome robots, what are your thoughts on the Big O? I remember the first season and enjoying it quite fondly. I don't remember anything about season 2. So, I will have to look back on it at some point and watch it. I don't remember, but yep, we are gonna give that a shot. So, never seen you so angry. Yeah, I was pretty pissed. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you all so much for coming by, hanging out. Especially those of you who were liberal with super chats. Holy shit, that means a lot to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off. Steak and mashed potatoes. Like, I think you guys can understand why. But I appreciate all you guys coming by, hanging out with me. I'll probably be back tomorrow for more discussion for the usual Tuesday stream. What we're gonna do, I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I will catch you guys later. Have yourselves a great rest of your evening, and I will see you all next time. Seriously though, steak and mashed potatoes.